Good morning, everybody. Prepper Nurse One here. I wanted to do a quick video on the whole Ferguson, Missouri situation with Officer Wilson not being indicted on the shooting death of Michael Brown and the reaction of the people to it. Um, you know, Obviously, first of all, let me just state I wasn't there, so I don't know what the evidence is. The evidence was presented to the grand jury, and after eyewitness testimony, and it's funny how a lot of the testimony changed. I mean, certain people had said that Michael Brown was shot in the back, and and then all of a sudden, when they did the autopsy and it showed that he was not shot in the back, well, then they changed their story and stuff like this, and you know. Officer Wilson, it basically has been shown, was attacked in his car. There was a struggle in the car with Michael Brown. And if you see the pictures of Michael Brown, he was a big kid. I mean, he was, and he wasn't a kid, he was a man. Actually, he was 18. So, but he was a big, big boy, okay? Now, first of all, let me say that none of this would have ever happened if he hadn't been stealing in the first place, okay? And, then you're going to fight with the police and go after the police. What do you think is going to happen? That man has a right to defend himself. So anyway, because things didn't go the way that the protesters wanted, overnight, 29 people were arrested. More than 100 shots were fired. They were throwing bottles and cans, or not cans, but they were throwing bottles and rocks at the police. 12 buildings were set on fire. And when the firefighters went in to fight the fires, more shots were fired, so they got the heck out of there, which you can't blame them. It's amazing how if something doesn't go a certain group of people's way, that they react with this kind of violence. It was a white officer killed a black man. Okay, well, where's all the outrage when a black officer kills an unarmed white man, which does happen, and it has happened recently? You don't see, everybody going nuts, and you don't see, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton jumping on the bandwagon and flaming the fans of hatred and stuff like that. You don't see that, okay? This is what saddens me about this country. There's two countries in the world that use color, okay? Us and South Africa, and they have such a great track record. The media feeds the flames of this hatred all the time, and that is also sad, in my opinion. They just love stirring the pot, and to me, we're all Americans. This is America. We all live here. We're Americans. I don't care, there's no black and white and red and yellow. I'm not a English, Irish, Scottish, German, Dutch American. I'm an American, okay? I have a lot of different backgrounds in my makeup. There's not Italian Americans that are Americans. There's not Irish Americans that are Americans, okay? There's not black Americans that are Americans. It's just, we're Americans. We need to be Americans first. We need to stop this nonsense of, separating ourselves into little groups of people and, we have to be different. We need to be together. This is who we are. I mean, the world hates us anyway because of what our freaking government does, being the policemen around the world anyway. So, but anyway, getting off track here. Officer Wilson was not indicted because he was defending himself from a freaking lunatic kid that had flipped out. I mean, the evidence proves that. Okay. I'm sorry, but if somebody that's, I don't know how big he was for sure, but 6'3", whatever he was, 250 pounds, obviously Officer Wilson was not a great big huge man. He probably feared for his life because that kid was freaking, he was monstrous big. I feel bad for the family that they lost their son, but if their son wasn't doing the wrong thing, he would still be alive today. That's the bottom line. If their son had not been out committing a crime in the first place, he would be alive today. Okay? That's the bottom line. It's a sad, sad thing the way that, and it was funny because, they knew it was going to happen. They knew that when the indictment came down, not the way that the crowd wanted it to be, or, the blacks in Ferguson, and there was white people in there with them as well, on their side, if you will. And it's like, why is it always got to be sides? Why can't it just be the representation of facts of what happened? And why does it always have to be about race? Why can't it just be a young man did something stupid, attacked a police officer, and the police officer ended up having to defend himself and kill this man? How do you think he feels? He probably feels awful, that he had to use deadly force in this situation, and it's a very, very sad thing. The whole thing it's sad. The reaction of people to the fact that things didn't go the way they wanted, or let me rephrase that they demanded that it should go, is sad. It just goes to show you what's wrong with this country. We need to be one. We need to be united. We need to be Americans, not all these separate races. And the media just loves it. They just can't get enough of it. So that's my take on it. Let me know what your thoughts are. It just saddens me. This is a state of what this country is, and it's like the next thing. What's going to be the next thing that sets off the powder keg? And so there'll be more protests. I'm sure people will die because of it, which is stupid. And white people will be attacked. And their justification is because they didn't get justice. Well, let's go back to it, folks. If he wasn't committing crimes in the first place, none of this would have happened. That's the bottom line. Okay? So that's my take on it. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.